Hello everyone and welcome to the inaugural event in Azerbaijan, which plays host to the first European Grand Prix since 2012. My name is Shane and joining me as ever is Dan.
Hi Shane, and you join us for round 8 of this AOR PS4 League at the new Baku city circuit in Azerbaijan. This track is very different to a normal street circuit, with the long straights meaning the drivers will have to use a very low downforce setup, which could cause some great action in the run down to turn 1 and turn 3. Now let's find out how all the drivers did in this first qualifying session at Baku in the qualifying report.
So here we are in the PS4 F1 League for the first time ever around Baku city circuit, with a qualifying comparison between Qualy G4 in the Renault on the left hand side and Jim Resi in the Ferrari on the right. They have already navigated the hard braking zone for turn 1 and now going through turn 2 as well, getting very close to the walls on both sides of the track as they navigate this city circuit, with the arrest open now, going down to the very tricky braking zone for turn 3, where it's super hard to spot the braking zone because the braking board's high up on the wall on the right hand side, but these two drivers both do it very nicely indeed, and this turn 4 sweet as you like as well. Now coming into the chicane-like corner for turn 5 and 6, which is kind of awkward as you need to be very slow on the entry to line up the exit there. Qualy using quite a bit of the curb, while Resi has to navigate a backmarker, which luckily gets out of the way. Well, not quite a backmarker, but just a car on the slowdown lap. As I now have to navigate the super tricky castle section, by far the most unique and also tricky corner on the track because it's very, very narrow, and then keep it to the right to line up at the exit onto the back straight, where we have two flat out corners before the downhill braking zone for turn 15, and so far in the lap there is really nothing to separate these two drivers, although I think Resi is just marginally ahead as they come into the braking zone here. Let's see if Qualy can get any headway in this final part of the lap, because now we have turn 16, which is probably the most important corner on the whole circuit because it leads onto by far the longest flat out section, no lift at all, with the qualifying fuel and fresh tires through turn 18 and 19, and now it's all about keeping the foot down and waiting for the finish line to approach. And you can see now that in the final part of the lap, Qualy has actually gained an advantage back on Resi and is marginally ahead as they cross the line, which means Qualy will be P6 with a 141.1 lap and Resi 1/10 behind in 7th.
So it was Ali K who continued his fine form in qualifying to take back-to-back pole positions, and is the first driver to beat Nervo Tank in a qualifying session this season. It was the Renault driver less than a tenth behind the McLaren driver, with Big Shot and Disimplay both producing very good results here in Baku. Alex is the first driver on the third row, with Qualy, as we just saw there, lining up 6th with Resi just behind him. M4 down in 8th, not the greatest state for the Haas driver, and Dan and Clarkey would round out the top 10. Nummer in 11th was less than a second off pole, with Beamy rounding out the 6th row. GR Demon and Theo will be on the 7th row. Big C and RBO West both having quite poor qualifying sessions, with Jonas Mazias and X-Mayor Magnus rounding out the grid here for Baku, with B Colt and NBA Rubin unable to attend. And now it's time for the European Grand Prix.
It's round 8 of the season and we've got quite an overcast day here in Baku, but there shouldn't be any rain falling over the circuit today. Tyre wear seems pretty low at this track, and should we expect a one-stop here today, Dan?
Yeah, it does appear to be that the drivers starting on super soft should be able to go straight onto that medium compound tyre and get to the end. Some may attempt the two-stop, but due to the nature of the track and well, that's very slow middle sector, it could be quite difficult to overtake in the middle sector. But down the main straight and in towards turn 3, I think we're going to see quite a lot of overtaking. 2 DRS zones here, so plenty of opportunities for Nervo Tank to get ahead of Ali K during this race, and I'm sure he doesn't want that as he seeks to get his first victory of this season.
Yeah, so Nervo Tank is doing himself a very nice job to try and open up his championship lead of 42 points that he has at the moment after Canada, and Ali K with the man on pole. The the two main people who can challenge Nervo at this stage in M Thorn and Alex, having pretty poor qualifying himself, with M Thorn down in 8th and Alex way down the pack as well. Sorry, no, he's actually in 5th place, so he's got a better chance to try and challenge Nervo Tank, but it's Ali K who's going to be setting himself up at the moment as we go through this very tight section of the track during the castle section, and personally I quite love to see the cars go through that part of the track now.
Yeah, I'm not sure the drivers too. It's a very difficult challenge, threading the eye of the needle through that uphill castle section. Obviously, it's a big challenge for the drivers, especially in the race, because you want to push it to get the lap time, but then you know one small mistake and you could end up losing 10-12 seconds. So yeah, a very big decision for the drivers today as we cycle through the order, and it's a big opportunity for some drivers at the back today to get some big points. For me, I think we're going to see a lot of people retiring. The walls are very unforgiving around here.
Yep, as we now come through the final stage of the lap, these couple of corners were flat in qualifying, probably a tiny hint of a lift during the race on full fuel, but now coming down this very long stretch of a straight, and I can't remember a track that's got as long as a straight, especially down the pit straight as well. This is going to be one of the DRS detection zones, and the other the other activation zone for the DRS is on the exit of turn 2, down the back straight into turn 3, basically on the opposite side of the where you can see the pit lane on the left. So we're now on board with Novotank, awaiting for all of the grid to reform in the right hand mirror, and now we're on board with Theo, who's apparently in first. And now we've got the 5 red lights coming on now. 4 lights, 5 lights out. Away we go for the European Grand Prix, and Ali K and Novotank get off the front row very well. And now Williams going down the road on into turn 1, and there's a spinner in the middle of the pack, Mercedes, and now further down the field, all bunching up together as what's going on at the front of the pack. Novotank getting right behind Ali K into the slipstream now, down into turn 3, and he's still got a long way to go down into turn 3 into the braking zone. Is he going to try and go around the outside? Yes, he does try to go around the outside, and he makes it work. Now he's going to have the inside for turn 4, and he is now up into the lead.
Yeah, it's a very big move from Novotank. He's managed to wrestle back the lead as has made a good start up from P9, but back to the lead, and Novotank is trying to pull away from Ali K, but as we saw in qualifying, Ali K does have very good pace around this circuit. He's just hoping he can improve. Well, he's pretty much bottled it in the last 2 races at Canada and Monaco, and well, he's got a big task again, because he's got Novotank back on the grid, and Novotank looking to extend his 42-point championship lead as we now head through these flat-out left-handers and on board with Kian. Down in P7, so not had the greatest start to the race. I think he's lost 1 position off the start of this race, and now breaking this very difficult corner off camber, and Aresi goes into the wall. I don't know how he's managed that. He's probably locked up, and as you can see, he's got some damage to his front wing. That's going to cause him quite bad understeer as we now head into the final sector of this track.
Aresi's rear tyres look absolutely just torn to... Oh, he's already crashed! That's Aresi out of the race on lap 1. Will that bring out a safety car? Meanwhile, Ali K is firmly in the slipstream of Novotank, going down into turn 1, and can't quite make it work yet. Obviously, the DRS isn't activated yet. He will get him. Oh, there's Kian going straight off the track at turn 1. Will he get back round? Yes, he does. He clips his front wing, no. And now that's he's now dropped back out of the points. And now Ali K well and truly behind Novotank into turn 3. He's having a look down the inside. Will he commit to it? No, he doesn't. Novo's gone wide. Did he go down the escape road, or is he in the wall? He's carried on, so he's managed to escape that. But now that is Novo back down to P2, and Ali K with quite a big lead at the moment at this stage in the race. And now Novo is going to be under threat from Disimplay, who is back on form.
Yeah, Ali K just had a look up the inside into turn 3. Maybe that off-put Novotank. He just went straight on, completely missed his braking point. Very easy to do actually around this track due to the nature of the brake walls. They're so high up on the track and they get disguised by the walls. So it's actually quite easy to miss them as he gets very close to the inside wall of the castle section. But Ali K has...
He hits the wall.
He's actually hit the wall there, and now we've got Disimplay up the inside of him. And now could Disimplay find a way back? No, he's gone into the back of him. What on earth has happened there?
I think De Simple tried to go side by side through a section that isn't really side by side, and Clarkey, another retirement, smashes into the wall, and that's very easy to do at that corner because it's unsighted as you go through the apex. And so now that's 2 cars out in the first 2 laps of this race, so it's quite surprising we've seen no safety car yet. It is enabled as one of the top tiers in the whole league over the course of the 3 platforms that has it enabled. And now we've got Mthorn with a nice tasty little slipstream down the pit straight. It's going to go between Alex and Big Shot down into turn 1. No, he doesn't. He backs out of it, and Alex up the inside and maintains that 3rd place for now. Mthorn now up the inside of Big Shot into turn 2 and makes it stick. And that is now the Haas up into 4th place. So it's actually been a good start for Mthorn at the moment. Up from 8th on the grid, and now Big Shot from 3rd on the grid, I believe, is now down to 5th place.
Yeah, in all that battling though, Alex and Mthorn and also Big Shot have lost quite a lot of time, so that's not going to help them that much as we now head through the middle sector. This is still the first sector of this track. It's obviously got a very long first sector, and then they'll go through this very tight chicane, and then they head on this bit of straight in towards the castle section. They'll slow it down into 2nd gear, I presume, for this corner. Yes, they do. And then this is very narrow through here. Then down to 3rd gear. No, Mthorn puts it down to 2nd, obviously. And Alex actually hits the wall there, just showing how much the drivers are really pushing through that section. And now this is sort of the easy part of the track as they get ready. But once again, the corner where we see already Aresi and Clarkey made mistakes so far. And on board with Norma, who's had a great start up in P6.
Always gone wide though to the corner, taps the wall, gets away with it this time though. And yeah, through that castle section, it is so tight, you need 100% of concentration at all times through that part of the track, otherwise you will end up tapping the wall and probably most likely spinning, and then you'll have to do oh, that's another car out. 3 laps and 3 cars already out of the race, and now Mthorn is right behind Alex. The DRS is now enabled, so he's got and now we've got a virtual safety car finally, and it's surprising it's only a virtual safety car, but now all the cars have to slow down, respect the delta time that everyone gets, and we'll have this for about 30-40 seconds while they clear that car of number away from the last part of the track. So Mthorn was setting himself up quite nicely to try and overtake Alex there, but they're not too far away, so it is definitely recoverable as we've got Kian into the pits, repairing that front wing damage that he got on lap 2 as he went wide through turn 1. And now here we are on board with Theo. Good start from him, up from 14th, now in 9th place, and on board with the race leader at this moment in time. Going into that castle section now, and now the virtual safety car is ending, and Alex has actually taken off there and pulled out quite a good gap on Mthorn as he was caught a little bit napping now on the restart.
Yeah, Alex just seemingly just realising the safety car was ending, which Mthorn just wasn't able to do for some reason, and has pulled out a good second over the Haas driver, so that is a crucial gap that kind of puts him out of the slipstream range, which is so powerful here at Baku. And Big Shot has lost even more time, beating him up to P6. A great start for him. We've got the 2 Force Indians in 7th and 8th there, that to be on course some good points with Theo just behind, and all the guys starting on soft tyres. It's a very interesting situation here at Baku. If you start on the soft tyres, if you're able to push the tyres enough, you may be able to go onto a set of super softs at the end, but the safer strategy would be to go onto a set of mediums. Now on board with Theo, and Dan has run massively wide through the final part of that sweeping right-hander, and now the manager is just being able to through past the Force India down the pit straight.
And to complement Theo even more, he gets DRS as an extra boost token. Oh my goodness me, and Dan having quite a scary lag moment there. That would have scared Theo quite a lot, I would say, as now Dan is quite struggling at the moment. He's already dropped a long way off the back of Theo through turn 1 alone, and now he's going to be under threat from Mayhem Madness, who started well down the field in 19th, and he's doing a very good job at the moment to be up in 10th place, avoiding all of the carnage that we've had in the first 4.5 laps of this race. now coming through the section, now down into quite a tough chicane. It's fast on the way in, you have to slow down to make the right-hander, and now we go down into the castle section. You can see how kind of open it is, and then it really tightens up through that corner, and this left-hander is ridiculously tight. You have to nail that apex to make sure you don't clip the outside wall, otherwise you are guaranteed to spin. And now the track opens up again as we come through this left-hander, now through two flat-out kinks that go uphill and then downhill, and now into this pretty tough braking zone, which is kind of off camber and downhill, so you can't really see the apex, and now downhill once again into what is basically the final proper corner that you have to brake for on this track. And Dan getting a little bit leery on the exit of that corner, which will now compromise his run all the way down through this left and right, and now down the straight, although he will have DRS probably and slipstream to help him maintain that 9th place for now. But yeah, when do we think the first pit stops will start to happen? As we now have a replay of actually Kian on lap 2. This is where he broke way too late, and kind of probably should have spun right instead of left there, because it was quite tight towards the barrier, and that's where he's picked up that front wing damage. So now he's pretty much on a compromised strategy. But yeah, aside from that, one can... Oh, we now have... Okay, so this is now where Nervo's probably going to go deep down into turn 3. Yeah, so just completely missed his braking zone. Probably too busy watching Ali K there, and now on board with the crash. Oh, yep, there's the Simplay sideways in the road. And yeah, I think... Yeah, Clarkey looked like he was really off foot by that Mercedes being sideways in the middle of the road, and completely missed his braking zone for the left-hander that we're coming up to now, and yeah, just ended up in the wall. So now for a third time, hopefully I can get this out without anything else happening. When can we expect the first pit stops to happen, Dan?
It depends if the drivers want to go for an undercut. Obviously the medium tyre, due to the nature of it, is going to take quite a long time to probably warm up and provide the drivers with the grip they need. So I think anywhere from around about lap 8 to lap 10 is when the drivers have been looking to make that first and probably only pit stop, unless the drivers are suffering from quite high tyre wear, then they may go on to a 2-stop strategy. But now down the pit straight, Nervo Tank I think has got back within that DRS range of Ali K, which is so critical around this track. Even if you don't want to overtake, you can just save fuel with it. Alex hasn't dropped too far back from him. Didn't see where M4 is there, but yeah, Alex isn't dropping away too much, and so he's not a million miles away from these two if they start battling.
Yeah, if they start battling, or one of them has a spin, or one of them ends up down one of the escape roads at turn 3 or turn 4 here, for example, then Alex might be well and truly right on the back of them. Fuel as well is very easy to dispose of down here, well, around here, because of the long straights that we've got at this circuit. So drivers have got to be careful with that, and be careful not to burn it all immediately. And as we saw for a moment there, Ali K with just under 2 laps of fuel spare, so he can use that as much as he wants over the course of the rest of this race, providing those safety cars. Although he could probably burn it under that safety car, as he's got Nervo Tank all over him, and Nervo Tank wants another win to add to his 3 at the moment that he has got. Obviously the championship leader in that Renault at the moment got quite a nice gap in the championship, and quite a nice gap to the cars behind. Is now going to try to get past the McLaren in front of him that has had quite a hard time losing the last 2 races that he kind of really should have won, and at the moment it's cost him quite a lot of points. Now down the pitch straight, Nervo Tank not quite close enough for a move yet down into turn 1.
Yeah, as you say, Ali K probably quite demoralised after the last 2 races. I mean, he lost the winning Monaco on the last lap, then produced a great qualifying lap in Canada, was looking very good for pace, and then apparently his soft tyres just fell away as he pitted way too early when it was still pretty much wet conditions in Canada. So yeah, he'll be looking to seek some redemption here in Baku, but he has got arguably the fastest driver in this league right behind him, and I'm sure he'll be feeling the pressure right now.
Yeah, so just to pick up on what Dan was saying there, yeah, LEK reported at the end of the race last time out in Canada that he pretty much just overdid his rear tyres, wheel spinning, and with the half spin as well that he had in the last race. He kind of just used up the rear tyres too much, and then ultimately had no pace for the rest of that stint. And it's kind of being shown here once again. When we were on board with him, we saw his tyre wear percentage, and he is over double the rear tyres, double the percentage worn than what his fronts are. So he is a wheel user, of course, and the nature of this game means that the wheel users have actually got more rear tyre wear than the pad users, and the pad users tend to have much more front wear, as they're pretty much limited on how much steering lock they can put into corners. Now on board with M. Thorne, only one race win to his name so far this season. Struggling! Wow, how has he not crashed out of the race? He has lost his front wing now though, and his rear tyres look absolutely shot to pieces. And he's in an awkward place now. Thankfully he's ghosted, so no one else has collected him, but that has cost him any chance of a podium now, you have to say. And that is going to cost him a whole load of track positions. He could be well out of the points here. And now Beamy is going slowly with is that puncture on the Mercedes? It's hard to tell. He's going to be very slow through quite a quick part of the track. And now down the pit straight on board with Kian. So I wonder where M4 is going to come out in all of this. He's down the far end of the pit lane. We'll see on the timing screen on the left hand side. And he's going to be behind Kian going onto the soft tyres, so probably trying to get those to the end of the race, and he's going to be well back.
Yeah, that is not ideal for the Haas driver. I mean, he's literally pushed his tyres to the maximum. He could have easily pitted a lap before and probably still got the medium to the end, so a very bizarre call from the Haas driver, but well, he's tried to take a risk, just lost the rear end because of the lack of grip he's got through those high-speed corners, and then he's ended up in the wall. But back to the front, the Nervo Tank and Ali K don't seem to have any of those problems, but as we saw a couple of laps ago, but Ali K's tyre wear, especially on his rears, were about 50%. So that means he'll probably be wanting to make a pit stop pretty soon, and I think considering he's taking his tyres to lap 9, he'll be going onto that medium and getting to the end of the race.
So now over the two leaders, Nervo just sitting in behind the McLaren, it looks like, at the moment. Now are either of these two going to pit? Yes, Ali K does now pit. So Nervo stays out to try and do something different, and which is kind of different to what he did in Monaco when he was battling someone else. I think it was Big Shot at that point in time. So now you've got to say that Ali K will probably undercut him, considering that those super softs aren't going to last anywhere, aren't going to be that good at this stage in the race. Finally got the words out, and now Ali K has gone onto the medium tyres, and so has Alex actually, who he is still ahead of. So that has worked out in that respect. He's still ahead of Alex, and now we've got Mayhem Madness in front of him.
Yeah, I think Alex pitted a lap ago, but he's not too far. Ali K isn't too far behind the Red Bull driver X Man, so that could cause him some problems on his outlap, especially if the Red Bull driver is particularly slow. Then that could cost him a lot of time. They saw M4 there down in 14th. He has lost so much time with that incident. That worked out absolutely horribly for him. But Ali K still in 5th, even after making his pit stop, clearly showing what good pace he's had during this first stint. But now as we approach the castle section, there's going to be no way through here, and this could hold up the McLaren driver quite a lot.
So now through the left-hander, we are. The turbulent air effect is less on this game through the corners, which kind of help. Oh my word! As both drivers lose the back end coming out of that corner, and what Mayhem Madness doing? He's on a very tight line, which is kind of weird. He's trying to let Ali K through, and he has now just done that. So I don't understand why Mayhem Madness would just let them through plain and easily, because Alex would have probably wanted his teammate to hold up Ali K to try and get past, and so that's probably cost them, all three of them, time. As I think on the mini-map we can see that Nervo has actually pitted, so this is going to be very crucial to where these three guys come out. And now down the pit straight we go to. Alex has gone to the outside, we can see with the proximity arrow down into turn 1, he's way ahead. That's the effect of the DRS plus the slipstream for you. And where is Nervotank? Nervotank's right there, and he's going to be ahead. So he's now actually overcut Ali K, and this is played right into Alex's hands.
Yeah, that's worked out horribly for Ali K. All that messing around trying to get past the Red Bull driver not wanting to compromise his race, trying to get out of the way, but that just slowed.
Oh, there's a car down the escape road.
Oh, who is that?
There was a car down the escape road there. I think that's a Force India. I think Theo's carried on, and yeah, that's GR Demon. So he was doing so well as well. He was actually leading the race, the first of the people who had started on the soft tyres, and now he has thrown away any chance of a good result, and which is really disappointing for him. He has been struggling in recent races, and it looked like it was all coming well together for him, and he's got front wing damage as well to his left front, and that has pretty much summed up his season in a nutshell there.
Yeah, it's not been too good for the Force India driver. Obviously, after his podium in China, it's been pretty much downhill from here. But Alex in P3, we've still got Theo out there who's on his soft tyres, so he's got the lead of the race provisionally. But as we now head downhill, we can see Nervo and the top three are actually all catching up to the Banner drivers, so it could be more chaos yet to happen. But now through the final sector of this track, and Alex is still within that DRS range of Nervotank, and if he's got that, he's definitely got a chance of winning this race.
I think any one of these three drivers has got a chance of winning this race. And Theo chooses to come into the pits now, so kind of expected him to go a little longer than that, but he is obviously going to go onto the medium tyres, doing a one stop from there, and now on board with Ali K. And I don't want to say this is another race of what could have been, but at the moment it's not looking good for him. Already, again, using more of his rear tyres, far more than his front tyres. So, oh, he's now gone down the escape road and tapped the back of Alex. Thankfully, I don't think Alex actually got his on his screen and is able to continue. And I called that right when I said it was another race that could have, of what could have been, and rather commentated curse him there. And now he's got no front wing and is going to struggle to get back to the pit lane.
What on earth has he done into turn 3? He's just braked far too late. He's missed his braking point, a bit like Nervotank did on lap 2. Gone straight into the back of Alex, lost his entire front wing, and that's absolutely disastrous as on John Endpoint, who's having to have another front wing.
It's not going well for this track is proving to be very tricky for a lot of these guys at the moment. And this is probably the most chaotic race that we've had this season, I would say. These walls are the walls are pretty much just inviting any one of these drivers to literally just come and have a party with them and have a cup of tea. So now down into the final sector of the lap. The final sector is just here, actually, the last, the middle sector checkpoint. And now back on board with Ali K, who's going to have to pull left into the pit lane here, and got to be careful he doesn't get a drive through for speeding, which is actually pretty easy to do around this track as well, because the stopping point is actually blind, as you have to turn left and then back right to make sure you get into the fast lane. So yeah, it's a pretty tricky pit entry which can catch you out very easily, and he's got that front wing change, and the mechanics had magically already changed the tyres as soon as we saw that, so it was quite impressive, as now he rejoins in a pretty lonely 10th place.
Yeah, and only 1 point to his name after only a couple of laps ago. It looked like he could be getting 25. He could have got 25 in the previous 2 races as well, and I want to say he's bottled this as well. I mean, it's just been disastrous running form for Ali K. He's clearly shown that he's got the pace. He's definitely developed that during the season, but he just hasn't got the race pace or the consistency to put it together for a full race distance. But now on board with the battle for 5th, and Theo has done a great job at the end of this soft stint, able to emerge out ahead of Dan and Kian, who were both battling cars who had yet to make the pit stops. I think that cost them time, and now Theo is doing a very good job for man. You've got to say, up in P5, other people's mistakes, he is looking good, because he's going to the end and he's already in P5.
Yeah, Theo's looking very good here for a fantastic result for him. And Kian obviously pitted on lap 2, so his tyres are going to be well and truly past their best, and he's going to have to pit again, probably for another set of softs. But now coming through the last section of the lap, Dan and Kian both within the DRS zone of the car in front that they're following. So now down the pit straight, is there going to be any possible overtakes? And no, not quite. Dan try and break the slipstream of the car behind him. And now down into turn 1. Kian actually got a lot closer to the Force India as they now go through turn 1. And he's going to be very close into turn 2. If he gets a good run here, he might be able to go down into might have a go down into turn 3. And now down the second DRS zone into turn 3. And not quite able to make any moves just yet.
Yeah, it's weird to see. I mean, everyone predicted a lot of overtakes to happen around here, but I think because everyone's running so low wings, the slipstream and DRS effect isn't as great as we possibly anticipated. And as we saw in real life F1, overtakes aren't that easy to come by. We've seen a couple of overtakes up front and a few in the mid-pack, but not vast amounts that maybe this circuit was designed for, and with no overtakes around here as we come into this very tight section of the track. And as we get into after the halfway point, this is where the driver's concentration is going to start to decrease. They're starting to get a bit tired, and this is where we could see mistakes happen.
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of mistakes already in this race, so who's to say that there's not going to be any more crashes and accidents to happen in the second half of this race. We just passed half distance, lap 14 of 26. Obviously, well, only got 26 laps around here because it's such a long lap. It's about I don't know I can't remember what the times are. It's about 100-second lap, I think. So now down the straight once again, and this could be just we don't quite know because we're not on board with them yet, but these two drivers might be saving fuel or running lower wing. Kian actually got very good straight line speed in that Renault. Now having a look up the inside into turn 1, and they get through it side by side, and Kian has to actually back out of that, and that's actually now cost Dan a lot of time to the car in front, and he's going to struggle to try and get back on his gearbox. And now on board with the Force India driver down in towards turn 3, and Kian doesn't look anywhere near as close as to try and get past.
Yeah, and now down in towards turn 4, and well, it's looking relatively decent for these drivers. Kian with a decent recovery, but back to the front, and Alex has lost a little bit of time. I can't read the time up at the top, but I'd say he's about 1.5 seconds behind. On board with Big Shot. Oh look, getting very close to the wall in the castle section there. I think he locked one of his inside front tyres, and that has cost him a lot of time. And X-Men Madness now all over the back of him, who I believe is still yet to make a pit stop, although I could be wrong.
No, he still hasn't made his pit stop yet. He's still on those soft tyres, so he is trying to hang it out on those softs at the moment, and trying to stick on a set of the super softs, which I think will make it to the end from here with the benefit and with the tyre wear glitch in his favour, obviously. And now through the last couple of sections of the last corner of this section, and now down into towards the pit straight. Will he pull left? We'll find out in a moment. No, he carries on for another lap, so you've got to say those soft tyres are well and truly past their best, and he has fallen a long way. Remember, I think about, what was it, 6 laps ago, he was with his teammate ahead of him, and now he's about 16 seconds behind him, so he's lost a lot of time in those 6 laps, as we're now on board with Kian in for his second pit stop. Which tyre is he going to go onto? Probably the super soft, I would say. Yep, it is the super soft, so he's going to go 10 laps, or 11 including this one. A beautiful 2.1 second stop, and now he's got RBOS and GR Demon in front of him.
Yeah, 2 drivers ahead of him who are not having a great race themselves, and Kian on that recovery trail after pitting very early on. So far doing a decent job and looking on course for some decent points. Now on board with Ali Kate down in P7. It's been another poor day for the McLaren driver. He's trying to recover what he can from this race. I feel like maybe 4th is still possible. I don't think we'll be able to catch Big Shot, but I think there's maybe a chance to catch Theo towards the end of this race. They look to be about 6 to 7 seconds up the road, but now holding RBOS as they head down through towards the end of the first sector. And it looks like GRD is on that medium compound tyre, so he should be slower than the Haas driver, but the Renault behind of Kian will be much faster than the pair of them and will catch them in no time.
RBOS up to 10th from 16th in qualifying, so he's doing a great job himself to be up in the points at the moment, obviously with 3 cars crashing out in the first 3 laps and other various incidents across the course of this race. So the Haas driver doing well at the moment. He's kind of been up and down. He's had an up and down season so far. Obviously had a terrific qualifying in Spain, I believe, just behind his teammate, and it shows that no one is guaranteed a top spot in this league, unless you know tank, obviously. But he seemed to be fast at everywhere. But it's always possible that someone will make a mistake, even Tank, obviously, as we've seen in this race. And we've now got a pitter there. I don't know who that was, but now RBOS trying to go around the outside through turn 1. And oh, there's contact. The Force India's up in the air in the wall, and he's lost his front wing. And RBOS, well, he's gained the place. I don't know what happened there quite. And now I think the other Force India, Dan, that was Dan we saw pit, and he's rejoined in 9th place ahead of his teammate without that front wing. Gone on to the super soft tyre, and as if this race could have gotten any worse for GRD, and it just has.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate incident. I think the drivers just tried to go side by side, and with the contact model on this game, it dragged them both into the wall, which is very unfortunate, and that'll cost them both quite a lot of time. Back to the front, and Alex, well, he's sticking with Tank, fair to say. He's doing a very good job, and well, I think we've also got to factor in penalties. Due to the nature of the corners round Baku, you can actually pick up quite a lot of penalties because the corners are that easy to put. So, yeah, I think we could see a few qualitative penalties for some of the drivers, but now back to RBOS in 8th, and he's under pressure from the Force Injury of Dan as he's on the super softs, and I think also RBOS picked up some front wing damage during that incident. I'm surprised because the other Force India lost his entire front wing as they go now through the final corner, and this is a shove-in evenly for the Force India driver in towards turn 1 if RBOS doesn't pit.
Yeah, as you said, he has actually got front wing damage. You can see there the front right end plate's gone. The whole of it is gone actually, so it would be no surprise if he does pit, and well, we're not going to know if he does pit at the moment. Back on board with Thorn down in 14th place, the last of those who are actually running at the moment. That's how bad his race has gone this afternoon. Right behind Mazais in the Toro Rosso, who has become a reserve driver at this moment in time. And now Thorn, just to top off his afternoon, has now crashed out of the race. So that'll be a race to forget for him, and that's going to be a big blow to his championship. Well, attempt at trying to close the gap down in the championship, as we're now on board with his kind of main rival at the moment in Alex. Through the last couple of corners we go, and if Alex can pull himself into the DRS zone, he'll probably gain another 3 or 4 tenths just from that. At the moment he's 1.6 behind, so he's got 6 tenths to find before he can do that. As we now go over the line, what's the gap? Hard to tell. It is 1.5, so he gained a tenth in that last sector. So he's quicker in the last sector, which is pretty useful for him. But he's now got to work around the rest of the lap to try and close that gap down, as we're now back on board with Mayhem Madness, who I believe has now pitted.
Yeah, and he's emerged out just ahead of Dan, and well, I think Dan will be trying to find a way past through the DRS zone, but X-Men Man has pitted quite late actually to go onto that super soft. Well, so we'll easily make it to the end on those tyres, and they're probably quite fresh right now, but that won't help him on a straight line because Dan will get the DRS, and well, he'll have an added boost in towards turn 1 with the slipstream. Mayhem goes very defensive on the inside line, and actually no, he's going to the pits. He must have picked up a drive-through. He only had to go through the pit lane once, and I suspect he's made a terrible mistake and has speeded because his pit crew just aren't out for him.
What a disappointing well, it's not the end to his race, because he's still in the race, but he's going to be well down the order. When it all looked like it was coming sweet for the Red Bull driver, he has blown it once again. It will be interesting to see what that drive-through is for. It's got to be speeding through the pit lane as GR Demon is now down in last place in 13th. Now back with the race leaders. The gap is still 1.5 seconds as we go through the last couple of corners once again. So Alex is struggling to get that gap down. Obviously he is on 2 laps older tyres than the race leader, so he is going to struggle to catch him. But now watch the gap over the line. It is now 1.4. So once again, a tenth quicker in the last sector. So he's working his way slowly but surely. He's working that gap down. And now on board with Big Shot, who is absolutely just in his own world, as is Theo now. And Ali K, obviously, with that chance to win the race that he is now blown once again. Now on board with Dan in 8th place. A lot of these drivers seem to be in their own world now.
Yeah, I think Dan's actually made quite a big mistake, because he was actually ahead of Big C only a lap ago, and he's now not too far behind the Saudi. You see X-Men Madness there actually just coming down the hill, so he's lost nearly half a pit stop during that, because I think he's made quite a big mistake during some point on this lap. And X-Men Madness down in 10th, and RBOS and GR Demon, which has just been a terrible race for them. Having that incident. Nervo Tank got very close to the wall there, pushing it to the absolute maximum. Alex is putting him under quite a lot of pressure, and Nervo Tank's responding by really pushing it through that section.
This race isn't over for the victory here. Anything can happen in these last 6 laps at the end of this one. And now, once again, Alex looks like he's kind of maintained the gap over the course of this lap. As we see, it's still, what is it? It's gone up to 1.5. So he lost time in that middle sector somewhere, and now he's probably going to gain that 10th back in this last sector. So he's probably running slightly lower wing by a click or two. And now down at the pit straight, this race has kind of settled down from this start. I would have hoped that all the cars would be closer together, but these two clearly just in a world of their own at the moment, and the gap still remains at 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, Alex, he seems to be trying to push Nervo Tank, and a mistake could be coming. It's Baku and the walls are very close, but we've seen Nervo Tank so far this season. He has shown some weaknesses, but overall he has looked like a very accomplished driver, and well, Alex is trying to find a way past, but as I said, this race isn't over until we've even crossed the finish line and totted up all the penalties, because a lot of corners can be cut round here. Corner cutting penalties are quite easy to accumulate, and so we could see drivers picking up 3, even 6 seconds worth of time penalties. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if some positions change at the end of this race, but Alex once again just tried to push, and I wonder what he's feeling like now, because he knows he's gaining points on M4, so that's obviously good for his battle for second in the championship, but he knows he's losing 7 to Nervo Tank, so I wonder what's on his mind right now.
Well, Aresi was the 2 guys that were closest to Alex in the championship have both crashed out during this race, because Aresi had just moved up to 3rd in Canada with his win. So now M Thorn was been demoted to 4th at the end of the last race, and neither of those 2 are going to get points today. So those 2 are going to lose out massively in this championship at the end of this race. And Alex has now fallen back quite a way on this lap, so he's now beginning to have the after effects of those tyres being 2 laps older. As we go across the line once again, gains about half a tenth that time around, as now we've got Ali K all over Theo.
Yeah, so Ali K on his fresh, well, relatively fresh soft tyres when he pitted around about lap 13. So they'll be struggling coming towards the end of the race, but I don't think he'll have too many issues. But I think he'll just have probably better pace than Theo in the manner. But fair to say, he's done an absolutely excellent job on that one-stop strategy, going straight from the soft onto the medium tyres. 33 seconds behind the lead, but I'm not sure he'll care about that too much. He'll be picking up some great points for Manor currently, as long as he doesn't make a major mistake at some point. But Ali K goes up the inside of turn 1, just able to brake later, hits the apex, and that's him up into P4.
Yeah, Theo might not care that he's 30 seconds off the leader, but I'm sure Ali K would, because he was that race leader just about 13 laps ago, and yeah, as we say now, half a minute off that lead. So it's been another disappointing day in the office for the McLaren for the third race in succession, and now back with Mayhem Madness. We haven't got any indication of what his drive-through penalty was for, so we assume it was just for speeding in the pit lane. And now on board with the we're now watching that Red Bull looking to try and get past Jonas in the Sauber, that bright blue Sauber that is pretty much damn near impossible to miss. And now down into turn 3, can't quite make it stick, and now Jonas has actually gone wide through that apex and allowed Mayhem Madness to go up the inside. He's going to go around the outside of turn 4. Yes, he does. They slide together, they make contact, they don't actually spear off into the wall, thankfully. And now Mayhem Madness has got the inside for this corner and now makes it work.
Oh, it's a lovely move around the outside of turn 4, showing you can overtake towards the end of the first sector here. We've got Mazias now trying to go the inside. Oh, that was risky. And that's put him into the wall. God knows where Jonas is. Jonas is, I don't even recognise that part of the track. There he is. And I think Mazias has put them both into the wall. So don't really know what's happened there, but that, yeah, it's a bit of a risky move going up the inside of the corner. I've never seen anyone overtake there. And now RBOS is all over the back of Salvador.
Yeah, I think Mazai's tried to go up the inside of a corner, which is hard enough to go through by yourself, let alone trying to go 2 cars wide. And he kind of dived it down late on the brakes, and Jonas has turned in normally, not expecting that to happen. And then Mazai's has kind of just barged them both into the wall. And in terms of gaining the position, it has worked, because Mazai's is now up to 10th, but that is quite sadly, you have to say, cost Jonas a chance of points here this afternoon, as he's now under threat from the Haas of RBOS, the only remaining Haas in this race. And now he has made the move on Jonas up into 11th place, losing the back end slightly on the exit of turn 1, but maintains that position into turn 2.
Yeah, it's not been a great season for Sauber. Obviously, they had a great result in Spain, where I think they scored 25 points there, with Jonas getting that podium, and now with GR Demon, who is getting lapped by the current race leader of Nervo. Oh, that would explain a lot more as to why he's travelling that slowly. He's not been. I thought he's been very courteous to the leaders there, but as we saw actually on that replay there, Alex seems to have dropped a fair way back from the leaders actually, but. Yeah, it's been another disappointing day for the Force India driver, and he has to make a very late pit stop. And, well, I suspect the only thing he can go for now is fastest lap.
It's just pride, really, trying to go for fastest lap at the end of the race. At least you can take something from the race, but we'll see if he does indeed get that. I think he's had a front wing change, which is why he's just lagged backwards down the pit lane. And now he's going to, well, he's not going to lose anything. He's not going to unlap himself at all, because he's already been lapped by the time he came into the pits. So as long as he doesn't get in the way of any of these guys, Ali K and Theo as such, then I think they won't have a problem with him being lapped. But yeah, another race to forget for GR Demon, as now Mayhem Madness goes on the hunt for Dan, as we've got Mazai's, I think, or is that, no, that's RBOS, no, that was Mazai's who had just crashed out there. And that is kind of arguably karma for what he's just done to Jonas, as Jonas is actually still disappointingly down in 11th place, as he now chooses to come into the pit lane as well, probably still trying to go for fastest lap himself to try and get something from this afternoon, as he knows he's going to struggle to get a point. And now we're back looking at Mayhem Madness on the run down towards into turn 3.
It's actually caught up to Dan. I think Dan's tyre is starting to go off, as obviously he fitted a couple of laps earlier than the Red Bull driver, and the Red Bull seemed to have good pace. I don't really know where his strategy's gone so wrong today. Obviously he had that drive-through penalty, but he was quite far behind at that point. He started on the soft tyres, has made a one-stop work reasonably well. Presumably his pace just at the end of that soft stint which wasn't good enough, because if you look at Theo, who's also done a one-stop, he's gone straight from the soft to the medium, so he should arguably on slower compounds, but has made it work, and he's currently up in 5th. So bizarre to see, but maybe Theo's just had very good pace today. But we're now approaching the end of this race, and we've only got 2 more laps to go.
Yep, 2 more laps to go. At the end of this one, can Mayhem Madness salvage 8th place as he cuts that corner quite a lot there? Don't want to see that too much. And now into the last actual corner. Dan runs a little bit wide actually through that corner. So now Mayhem Madness looking like he's going to get himself into the DRS zone, the 1 second window that you need to activate DRS. Excuse me. We'll see down this pit straight into towards turn 1, the long strip, and he does have DRS. So now down into turn 1, he's not going to be anywhere near close enough to make a move, but he will have the tyre life and the slipstream and the DRS down in towards turn 3. Dan obviously starting on the super softs as well, as going to have that tyre wear glitch working against him, and that's why he's probably using up his super softs quicker than what Mayhem Madness is, as well as the fact that Mayhem Madness pitted later. But he was unable to make a move down into turn 3, so he has to stick in behind the Force India for now.
Yeah, and he'll be probably close enough to make a move down into turn 1 on the next lap. But we've seen so far this race has got pretty inventive with his overtakes going around the outside of turn 4. So maybe he could be the first driver to dive it up the inside of the castle section. Don't think the Dan will be too happy with that, but I probably won't decide to do that. He'll just stick in the slipstream and stick with the conventional route of into turn 1 and to go up the castle section. And the sun's actually quite blinding there. I wonder if the drivers are suffering from that. I think that's the last thing they need, another challenge through that section. But they now go through these flat out left-handers, and as I say, once again, it's just we get into the last few laps of this race, and the drivers will be really struggling to keep themselves concentrated and make sure they're not making any mistakes and throwing away the points that they've worked so hard.
Yeah, because obviously these two are kind of okay, as they kind of, you get more focused when you're with someone else. If you're on your own, like the guys in like 3rd, 4th and 5th at the moment, they will probably just tend to lose momentary lapse of concentration, and that could be it, you're in the wall. So now down in towards turn 1, Mayhem Madness with the slipstream and DRS still not close enough in towards turn 1 to make a move. Much later on the brakes though, and Dan actually leaves some room just in case the Red Bull thought about it. And now in towards turn 2, not quite, and Dan once again leaving space just in case the Red Bull decided to commit to the move, which he hasn't done. But now he's got the DRS and the slipstream up towards turn 3, and that is now a very easy move for the Red Bull driver as he locks up slightly and misses the apex. But yeah, that is now Mayhem Madness up into 8th place, which will be quite a good result for him. But now it's a brilliant result for Nervotank, once again taking his 4th win of the season. It's a 50% winning record for the Renault driver and extends his championship lead over this man here, Alex.
No,
Alex has won. Alex has won the race. So, as Dan pointed out earlier, corner cutting penalties have actually factored into this race. So I had no idea that changed until the very last second there. So good spot there, Dan. You noticed it before me. And big shot. There's a Force India just in the wall there, just dragging along the wall. So that's brilliant to see. Big shot comes home in 3rd, followed by Ali K and Theo. And now we're back on board with these two guys. And RBOS has actually caught up a lot to these guys in the remaining couple of laps as these two have been battling. And now who is going to get that run down into across the finish line? And it's going to be very close between these three. And Mayhem Madness at the front of the queue is probably looking worse down here. RBOS, here we are on board with him with the DRS and the double slipstream. Can he make it across the line? No, he's actually tapped the back of the Force India and crashed over the line. I think he'll be classified in 10th though. No, he's got 9th actually, because someone had a penalty in front of him. But yeah, that was quite a drastic end to the race. It has actually turned out that Alex has won the race, as Nervo had actually 6 seconds worth of time penalties in the end, which has dropped him back to P2. And how disappointing for him. He had that race pretty much in command. And big shot rounding out the podium places. Ali K finishes 36 seconds off of the lead, and only just beat Theo actually. Only half a second ahead of the Manor. Terrific result for him. Followed by Kian with a great recovery drive up in 6th place. Big C comes home in 7th, followed by Dan, RBOS, and Mayhem Madness was that person with the penalty who drops down to 10th. And GR Demon was the only runner with 3 pit stops, and then we have that long list of retirements. And for the Drivers' Championship then, the gap is now down to 35 points between the two at the top, and you can see the effect that it's had on Aresi and Mthorn. Mthorn dropping down to 7th as Ali K and Big Shot get promoted, so it's very close for 3rd place at the moment, only 6 points covering 5 drivers, which is brilliant to see. Shame we don't have that up the top at the moment, but Alex is slowly closing down that gap now, and that was terrific news for him. Big C moving up to 12th place with a strong result for him, and Jonas unfortunately dropping down along with GR Demon. Theo moving up to 15th place with 10 points from this race for him, moving ahead of his teammate and NBA Rubin and B-Mute as well. Mayhem Madness still down in 19th, and Nummer still yet to score a point.
In the Constructors' Championship, Renault, even after the win for Alex, maintained their lead in the Constructors' standings, with Ferrari still in 2nd. Red Bull move up into P3 with Haas dropping down to 5th, Mercedes forcing the Sauber, Manor and Williams all retain their positions as they did before this Grand Prix.
So that's it for the European Grand Prix here in Baku. Join us again for round 9 in Austria. From both me and Dan, we'll see you there. Goodbye.